Hello, welcome to Visions of War. Today we're going to be talking about my top 15 teams for War offense in this new meta War season, War, whatever they want to call it now, Superiority Complex, where we have Spider-Verse as getting buffs, we have Secret Defenders getting buffs. So this is just going to basically say what War offense is. Yes, it is ordered, in my opinion, from 1 to 15, with a couple of honorable mentions as well, and one that I do use on defense. I don't use on offense, but does have some counters, some usefulness if you were to put it on offense, but is much better defense team, in my opinion, as of right now. And again, these are my opinions. These are not something that I'm going to say every person must do, and it's all your own build. If you don't want to build these teams, you want to do something else, that's fine. If you're not in a War Serious Alliance, I get it. But we're getting to a point where they're doing now more and more of these events and milestones where we're having to use War as a way to get diamonds, is a way to get gold, is a way to get materials, is a way to unlock new characters. So it is important to know what teams you can use. And again, if you're starting out and you've got a new account and you're at level 70 and you've only got, 80 characters unlocked, these might not necessarily be the teams that you use. But if you're a mid-game player towards 95, maybe moving your way up to the 96, which is going to take forever. And you have most of the characters unlocked, if not all. Maybe not Sus, maybe not some of the new ones, Void Knight, whatnot. Just to give a time frame when this video is coming out, then you might have, most of these teams, and this might be an idea for what you want to build. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it. This is what I consider the number one team in War offense. It's a team that came out not too long ago. On defense, it's kind of seen its way into the past with some new teams that have came out, but that's going to be Gamma. So Gamma with Red Hulk smashes its way through the War offense. It is definitely a meta team. You can see the ISOs I have here. This is built for War offense. I have Raider on Red Hulk. A lot of crits come out with him. Striker, I believe, on She-Hulk is a good one for War. Although I've seen Skirmisher and Raider and Healer. I don't think any ISOs are wrong necessarily. Just play the way you want to play. But Gamma is a great offensive team. It counters almost everything. We got Secret Defenders, Weaver teams with Eternals, APOC hold it can counter, Quicksilver hold it can counter, Hero Asgard with Dorm it can counter. It punches across with like APOC Offenders and Sinister Six, as long as it doesn't have the crazy Sinister Six team that just came out, and we'll get into that. And then you can also punch down on like Sus teams, teams with Secret Defenders and Sus. You can punch down, punch across. And what I consider to be a punch down going forward is anything that's 10% of the TCP, or the total collection power of the team. Within that 10% range down and up is what I consider to be a punch across. Punching up is more than 10, and punching down is more than 10%. So if you want to get a calculator to figure that out, you're more than welcome. Otherwise, it's just, hey, if it looks like a big punch up, then this is what it's going to be. But yeah, number one team in War right now, I think, is Gamma. It's very useful. A lot of different counters. Take it off of War defense because Doc 6 can just destroy it. And Nowhere can beat it as well. We'll get into those as we go on. But Gamma, yeah, number one, I think, War offensive team. I'm starting at the top and working my way down. So I'm not one of those people that kind of like, wait till the end. It's going to be, no. Right now, if you want to end the video now and just know Gamma's the best, go build it. Go build it. That's fine. That's up to you. So we're going to get into our next team here. The next team at number 2. It's a team also that recently came out. I mean, go figure that. They're bringing these teams out to counter the team that's before. This is probably the team 2 ago. It's definitely still in the meta, and we're going to see probably the usefulness of its main member brought up into the next legendary unlock. And that team is going to be Nowhere. Nowhere, it's It counters a lot of stuff as well. I mean, again, Secret Defenders, Weaver Eternal, APOC hold, Quicksilver hold, Extreme X-Men, which is a tough one to do right now. Hero Asgard Dorm on defense, which is a tough one to do right now. Infestation, which only has a few counters. This team takes care of them all, and it does it pretty well and pretty efficiently. Sinister Six, it could beat. It could beat in a punch across, but it's tough. It's a tough. Sinister Six on defense is a tough one to beat. It really is. It has a lot of different counters to it right now, but none are really 100%. Especially if you're in Reactor, that room is a pain. So, but Nowhere takes care of and dispatches a lot of good teams. Like if you see that Gamma on defense, Nowhere. That Infestation is huge. Nowhere. Even like they have those rebirth teams that now get those super buffs in War on defense, where they're getting revives and all that stuff. Nowhere. So anyways, so that's my number 2 team. I would say build it. It's very tough to start. I have Striker on Nova. I also have Raider on Thor. Striker on Thor is also very good. I know a lot of people have that. Healer on Cosmo, I like. I mean, your dog's a healer. It's a dog. A healer's a type of dog. I think it just matches. Raider on Star-Lord because he does have adjacent attacks with both his basic and his special. But I mean, I've seen people put other stuff on all these, and like I said, they all kind of can do your own thing, whatever you want to play with them. This is just my preference. So no more on the you can do your own. This is my preference. That's what we're going to do going forward. This is how I do it. If you don't want to, that's fine. If you want to listen to CCs and do what they do, that's fine. This is just what I like to do. So this is my opinion. All right, so going on to the next. So the next team we have is my favorite team to use on War Offense. I'm just going to show you what it is because it's Underworld. Underworld, I think, is probably my favorite team to use. I love the way that it works. I love the counterattacks. I love the blinds. I love the minions coming in and doing a crap ton of damage. I like the fact that I get to use Green Goblin again. I loved it back in the day when it was Sinister Six with Green Goblin. I love the character. Stripping their buffs, going through stealth, that kind of stuff is just so much fun. They don't really have as many counters. We're finding more and more as we go through that are like top-notch counters, except for APOC offenders. So APOC with Secret Defenders, it can punch across. If you want to see how to do it, you're going to have to watch my videos. But it is something that can work. It could also be just straight up Secret Defenders, Weaver teams. If I see Weaver on a team, I'm using Underworld. Death Seed punches up huge on Death Seed. Bifrost, Weapon X. Yeah, it could be Weapon X, and Weapon X is on defense. Why you put Weapon X on defense, I have no idea. But Pocket Offenders, Sinister Six. When I say Sinister Six, I don't mean Superior Six. I mean Sinister Six. Doc Six is what I call it, so that it's not confused with the other, because there's a Doc Six and then a Sinister Six team that you can use. And then Quicksilver Hold. Any Dark Hold, it's going to beat. Like, Dark Hold doesn't stand a chance. The counter attacks you get from Nobu on his ult is just going to put Dark Hold in its place. It's a beautiful team to use. And probably my favorite team to use, but I would say the third best team on War Offense. Okay, so on to the next. Next team we're going to see is one that was mentioned just a little bit ago. It's a team that's kind of fell a little bit with some of the new counters. But that's going to be Weapon X. So you can see the placement here. Oh, the placement on the last one too. The reason why I test master is you want him to load in last. So the placement here is I want to protect Omega Red as much as I can. I get him away from Samurai so that he's not getting that. Wolverine has revives, so put him next to Samurai. I have Striker on my Omega Red here, but if I go into war, I'm going to move him to Skirmisher just so that he lays down the taunt or the ability block and the traumas no matter what. But I have him a Striker because that's what I use him for in DD6. So, but as far as ISO, I think Raider on Lady Deathstrike is great for me. The crits. I also used her in DD6. Sabretooth, Skirmisher, just to lay down that disrupted. Skirmisher also for Samurai to make sure that taunt sticks. And then Wolverine is your Striker, just because he does a crap ton of damage and he puts the bleeds down, and that ult, you want him to kill somebody. So Weapon X, now the number 4 team in War. It was number 1 for a long time, but recently kind of worked its way down because of pre-taunts and because of things like that, which it has a hard time getting around. All right, so on to the next. So the next team, I've already mentioned it a few times. It's a great team for offense. It's kind of hard when you see it on defense to battle with, so you can pick your poison, choose which way you want to go with it, and that's Doc 6. So this is what I consider to be Doc 6, not Sin 6. I say Doc 6. This is Doc and his 5 other people that he brings with him because he spawns in Shocker. So Rhino on one side with Mysterio next to, just because if he does die, he makes bots, which then can bring him back. Vulture all the way on the other side, so you get that load-in thing, which is a little glitch they have right now. They want to make sure he loads in last. Green Goblin, the classic, of course, is the new, Scourge thing that they totally messed up for newer players. But if you can unlock him, he's needed for this team to do a lot of crazy things. And hopefully you can unlock him with the way that the company just decided to screw over all new players. Doc Ock, you can put as healer or skirmisher, either way. I think both work pretty well. Vulture, I like Raider. Just the damage he does on that ult is insane. Mysterio Striker, when he double taps and he brings people in and he triple taps, it's like, yeah, that's an amazing little combo there. And he does a crap ton of damage as well. I really like this team. I like the fact that it could beat, Gamma, Infestation, Extreme X-Men, Hero Asgard. Even if they put Val, it beats that. Bifrost, if they have just that team. It could beat Pegasus, even though it's a little harder with Kestrel. Quicksilver Hold. It could beat New Avengers. It's a little harder in this setup to beat New Avengers than if you add Kraven for Rhino. But it still works. It gets the job done. It's just a little tougher than what it is if you add Kraven. And the playability of the Sinister Six is so great. How you can move people around. There's going to be another team you're going to see later on that uses everybody that's not in this one. So yeah, add Kraven to go against New Avengers. It's a lot of fun. It's a great team. Fun team to use, and I'm glad it's back in the War meta. It belongs there. So next, we're going to move on to a team that I have on defense. And I think a lot of people have on defense. And I think belongs on defense. But I'm just going to give it a shout out here because if it was on offense, this is where it would slot in. And that's going to be your New Avengers. So, New Avengers, I like putting Coulson next to Tigra if I'm on offense, because if I lose Coulson on offense, whoop-de-doo. If I lose Thing, though, I'm not going to get all those crackbacks. So, I like putting it this way if I use it on offense. A very tough team. Has a lot of counters that it can use. I mean, it could beat Infestation. It could beat, Hero Asgard. It could beat, stuff like that. But a lot of teams that other ones that I have on the list can also beat it. And it's a great team on defense. It really takes a meta punch in order to beat it. And like I said, the Doc 6 with Kraven, so you're going to have to take apart, what you would have for another team that's down the road to beat it. Gamma beats it, but on a punch down. It's stuff like that. It's it's a very good team. Nowhere beats it, but on a punch down. So it's a good team to have on defense. Why waste it by putting it on offense? There's not a lot of teams that can punch up to it, except for one that I got. That I've made, but I'm not going to share that one because it's not a top war offense because it only counters one team. So these all counter multiple teams. That's what I'm going to have on my lineup here. So anyways, on to the next. So the next team that I have for war offense is one that's been around for a long time. They just added a couple new characters to it to make it so that it came out of the raid meta and into the war meta, and they made war dogs. War dogs are dogs when it comes to war, man. They have some great counters they could do. Bifrost, New Warriors, Marauders, Axemen, Invaders, Bionic teams, Uncanny X-Men, MOE, if somebody puts that on defense. There's a lot of great counters that it could do. It's fast. It's you can put a lot of different ISOs on it if you want it to do different things. The layout could be different if you want the layout to be different. This is the way I have it set up with Striker on 1 million and Striker on Black Panther, Striker on Okoye. So I'm getting those triple taps all the time or Striker on Shuri or Nakia. Sorry, not on Okoye. Okoye is your skirmisher. So you get those triple taps. She brings in the assist all the time and really makes this team go. And they can take 2 turns sometimes before the other team even gets one. I hate to admit that they're good, especially with a couple of my teammates that just love War Dogs. And every time a new defense comes out, they're like, War Dogs beats it. It does. And it's kind of sad to say, but it does. They're a great team. I don't have it built as far as I should because, like I said, I like other teams instead. But once you get it built up, man, it slaps. It's a great team to be using on offense. So kudos to War Dogs and what they do for you. All right. Next, we're moving on. Try to get through these things so you guys have, a short-ish video. This one kind of pulls apart a little bit from a defensive team if you're going to use, but I think it's good on offense if you use Photon with A-Force. Some people use Doom instead of Photon. I get that too. Some people use Namor instead. I get that too. A-Force, I think, with Photon is its best. It can counter MOE Wakanda if they put that on D for some reason. Invaders, New Warriors, Extreme X-Men, Hero Asgard, Heroes for Hire, Underworld. It could beat Darkhold. It could beat a lot of other teams that Pegasus, the new Extreme X-Men, Human. Like, there's just a lot of teams that it could beat, especially punching across. The punch-ups are going to be your, non-meta, defensive teams. The New Warriors, Invaders, Wakanda, MOE. But the punch-across on a lot of the other ones, or slight punch-up works, too. It's just a good, solid team. If you're going against Underworld, like, say somebody who decides to put Underworld on defense, dumb. But that's fine. If you want to put it on there, that's cool. It's up to you, especially with the Spider-Verse tags right now in War. All you do is you take A-Force in, you special with Jessica Jones the first turn instead of doing the ult. She gives them all immunity, so they don't have to worry about the stupid ability block. They don't have to worry about the blinds, and then they just smash. So, yeah, A-Force is a great team, and with Photon, you get a passive ping not only from Captain Marvel, but you also get it from her every 5 turns when her charges decide to go off. So, good team. Great team to use on offense, and definitely recommend building it up a little bit, so at least you have it. All right, on to the next. So, the next team that I have is one that you could put either offense or defense. I like it on offense just because it has some punch-up material to it, and that's Quicksilver hold. You can move Quicksilver to the outside. Like, if you put him, I'm going to move both of these. You could do this like that, and it's just fine. And what it does is some MILF is going to get the assist off of Agatha, because Agatha only brings in a Darkhold member to assist. Now, you could get that Scarlet Witch that pops up with this team because Quicksilver went below 50. But it does work both ways. I like the ISO the way I have it set, but you can change that as well. I've seen Raider on Quicksilver. I've seen Striker on Heartless. I've seen Skirmisher or Fortifier on Wong. I think they all work. It's a great team. It can punch up on Weaver teams. It can punch up on Quicksilver hold itself. Mirror matching. Death Seed, Human, it destroys. Young Avengers, it destroys. It's kind of a waste to use against Young Avengers, but boy, if they have a big one and your Dark Hold's pretty small, then yeah, take it out, or Quicksilver hold. You could beat Extreme X-Men with it on a big punch down. But you can. It's just tough. That new Extreme X-Men team is looking to be kind of a booger on defense. Rebirth, it could beat on a punch across with the new buffs. Infestation, it could beat on a punch down. It's a great team to use. I like it. Grab it if you can. All right, on to the next one. It has limited counters, but you can add a lot of stuff with it and make them probably one of the best ones with added tunes. Probably one of the best war offenses. It could be number one depending on who you add with it. And that's Undying. So I use Undying with the leftover symbiotes. Hela, Zim, and Zugs. They do some amazing things. We use it to counter Rebirth. Pretty simple counter that way. But man, the stuff that they can do once this season's over and they take the buffs off of Rebirth, we're going to be using it all over the place. It's just really a great team. We have the leftover symbiotes, like I said, with them, and that seems to be a great counter to the Rebirth team that we were seeing. But man, do they hit some stuff. Like, you can take out Darkhold, you can take out Gamma, you can take out Secret Defenders, you can take out New Avengers, you can take out a lot of teams, adding two other people to it. APOC, Sus, Doom. There's a lot of different people that you can add with these three to make them really an OP team to use on offense. So, Undying. Kudos to Scopely. Give us some more, though. We want, like, Undead Scarlet and Undead Cap or something. Like, that'd be sweet. Okay? Alright. So, on to the next team. Moving right along here, trying to get this video going and out, in production as quickly as possible. This is a new team to the war scene. I mentioned it before being on defense, and this is one I like to use on offense when I can. That's Pegasus. Pretty much what you want to do is just keep Rescue alive. You keep Rescue alive. Thank you, Captain Marvel. Hello. You want to keep Rescue alive and let Kestrel do her work. That's pretty much what it is. That's why Rescue's over to his side. Yeah, the other three, they do some stuff. But for the most part, you just want to put defense down so that way Kestrel can just ping them away. Kestrel is the workhorse on this team. Pegasus takes out Quicksilver Hold. It does. Death Seed, Invaders, Bionic Avengers, Marauders, Axemen, Young Avengers. It can punch across on the Hero Asgard. Like, it's a good team to use. I love having Striker on Kestrel. I'm not going to change it to Raider. I have it on Raider on another count. Now, I love Striker. She does so much damage. I did change her to Raider for GD6. But that's just because, Kang's on that team. You want him as a striker. Val's on that team. You want her as a striker. So I had to pick somebody, and Kestrel was the one I moved. But yeah, the other three, Iron Man, Darkhawk, and Ironheart, they just kind of die. If they do stay around, it's great. But Rescue's the one you want to stay around. Kestrel's the one you want to stay around. And you're pretty safe as long as you have those two. So, all right, on to the next. Moving right along here. I like it. So this team's been around forever. I don't have it geared up very much. And I can still punch up quite a bit with it. It's great for a SAC team. It's one everybody should be building because it's needed in Crucible. It's a good team to use in War. It's a good team to use a lot of different places. And that's Infinity Watch. Come on, give him some love, Like, you could sub out Moondragon for, like, Dormammu if you want to, and it does some crazy stuff. But a great team. Like I said, I haven't built very much, but if I see a 1 million Black Order, I'm still going to take it out with them. If I see, Web Warriors on defense, I can take it out with them. I don't care what the size is. So they're just a good team. They beat, like I said, BO, Marauders, Web Warriors, Bionic, any non-meta team, they're going to take out for you. Other teams like Bifrost or Invaders is a little tough on a punch across. And Underworld, they can punch down on if you see it. But if you see that pesky one where they're putting the Mercs and Taskmaster and it's not a full Underworld, they destroy it. Really easy to do. So, Infinity Watch, great team still. Been around forever. Love to use them. Alright, on to the next. We are going to go with a team that I have put together. This is my comp. A lot of people have different comps for this team. Very useful team, though, and that's Speed Eternals. So I like Cable, Namor, and Falcon. Falcon's special gives speed. Namor's ult gives speed, and Cable starts them off going. I use this against anything that I need to slow down and hit. Axemen, Hero Asgard, Invaders, Bionic, Pegasus, Uncanny X-Men, Weebs or Symbiotes. Marauders. Like, they work on a lot of stuff. That double tap by Icarus is phenomenal. And if you want to just like slow them down right off the bat, use his ult anyways. You don't have to double tap because you're going to get so many turns with this team that it really doesn't matter. I've seen people use now Icarus as a raider with this because you're having raider on Namor, raider on Cable, raider on Cap Sam, and then for Cersei putting Striker. And that's kind of an interesting way to do it, but I still like Striker on Icarus and Cersei as a skirmisher. I think it's a great team, and it's a great way to use some of these tunes that, we might have leveled up back in the day, but haven't really touched since. It's important to kind of look at the bottom of your roster sometimes and see what you might have to bring up, because getting the most use out of your roster is important. And this is definitely a team that uses some of those older tunes that but puts them in a good light, so that way you're going to feel like, okay, I made a good investment with that tune. So Speed Eternals, there you go. You can also put Emma in there if you don't have Emma on defense. She does a great job too. Same with Loki, does a great job too. So, but Speed Eternals, this is my mix. Do what you want with it. All right, so this last team of the top, no, we got two more to go. So this team is the one I mentioned, probably number 3 as we were going. And this is a fun team to use. This is Secondary 6. This is what I call Secondary 6. This has got Kraven, it's got Lizard, it's got Slayer, and it's got 2 of the leftover Sinister 6 and Electro and Shocker. It beats Infestation. It beats YA. It beats Uncanny X-Men. It beats the Unlimited X-Men if they haven't done a bunch of changes to it. It does a good job against Web Warriors and Symbiotes and stuff like that. It's a solid team for a bunch of leftover characters of something you probably want to build that does a good job. Good team. I like it. Solid. I do have videos on how to use it. If you want to look at them, you're more than willing to. But yeah, it's a great team. Fun to use. And a good way to get some use out of newer characters that might go in something different at points in times. We might have to use in events. So might as well get the most use of them as you can. Like I said, use all of your roster, right? So here's Secondary 6. And this will be our final 15. We'll get into some honorable mentions. This one is an oldie but a goodie. It still does some stuff. Welcome back to the club, Black Order. Yeah, it's been gone for a while. They did some changes. This team can still beat Young Avengers. It can still beat Heroes for Hire. It can still beat, like Weebs and Symbiotes and stuff like that. It could beat Gamma on a punch down. Are you going to see a lower Gamma than what it is? Probably not, but it could beat Gamma on a punch down. Cole does some new stuff with his abilities that slows down Gamma, slows down their charges, and it's a solid team. You can add some stuff to it, like you can add APOC, you can add things to it, and he's still going to get his empowered now with Thanos. You can add Eternals, take out the Wonder Twins there, and add Eternals to it, and they do some awesome stuff. So Black Order, it's now plug and play. And it's kind of cool. And thank you for doing that. We appreciate it because I can use my Black Order now and I can feel good about it, So, yeah, Black Order. The final out of the 15 teams. Yes, it is ranked last, but final out of the 15 teams to use for War Offense. So now we're going to get some honorable mentions. And these are just teams that are, that are one-shots, they have really one specific counter to use. And that's it. And so this is what we use them for. The first team we're going to do with that is going to be the good old Dark Hunters. Now, I put Dormammu with them. The reason for that is that stupid pre-taunting tank, right? Or when they put Captain Sam with them. So Dormammu doesn't care about all that nonsense. He just does his thing. You're going to lose Ghost Rider once right off the bat if you have the pre-taunting tank. So why not have him come back, right? Have him help you later on. Oh, that's what Dorm does for you. This is what Dorm does for you. I don't use him anywhere else, so why not get the most use out of Dormammu that I can? So I'm putting him on this team, and it makes him better. The revives help, the focus helps, the taunt that you can now put on with trauma on Shang-Chi after you get rid of that stupid pre-taunting tank, it helps. So yeah, Dorm Hunters, great team. If you want to see a video on how to use it, I got some up. Take a look. The other honorable mention we have is one that's just kind of like a bunch of stuff put together. Actually, I'm going to go through two. This one's first because this is one everybody really has built already because of Crucible, and that's New Warriors. New Warriors is iffy. You can use it against symbiotes and web warriors and stuff like that, but when you're using it against invaders, it can kind of get sketchy. When you use it against Hero Asgard, it can kind of get sketchy. When you use it against Young Avengers, it gets a little sketchy. So that's why I say it's kind of a one-off kind of team. Like there's only specific things that can beat, and it's usually stuff like non-meta. Like if they put for some reason X Factor on defense, guess what? This team's gonna hammer it, right? So yeah, just gotta kind of be picky and choosy about what you use them with. That's why I say they're honorable mention, because if you haven't built huge, I mean, okay, use them. If you don't need them. So it's just kind of one of those teams, you know? And then last on that list of honorable mention that really has one purpose in war, and that's pretty much it, is we're going to flash this real quick. No, I'm just joking. We'll go ahead and put it up there. This is my counter for New Avengers. It's a punch up. I can punch up on them. I will whoop them. And then I haven't seen one that I haven't been able to beat yet. So, yeah, love this team. I love what it does. Weaver really helps making it so they don't get punched back. APOC is just tanky as APOC can be. And you can just wipe out New Avengers with it. Some people are like, oh, but it takes apart a couple teams. Not if you use the other 15 that I have. You didn't see any of those characters with it. Now, if you have different combos, yes, it does. And you know what? That's your prerogative. This is mine. So, yeah, I like this team for a punch-up on New Avengers, but that's really the only use, so that's why I called it honorable mention. I call this team Boom, because that's what it does. It just goes boom. Kang goes boom. APOC goes boom. 2099 goes yeet, 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 yeet. Okay, but APOC booming somebody, even if it is a little freaking shield assault that comes down and puts a taunt on it, oh well, you're getting boomed, okay? But yeah, I like this team. It's a lot of fun. If I see a big old New Avengers, I'm just like, hey, I got you. So yeah, so this is Boom. So that has been my video. I appreciate you guys watching. Those are my 15 top teams and a few extras. I appreciate you watching, and please leave some comments. If you have different ones that you do, please let us know. It'd be kind of cool. Like, I have no problem looking at other teams, see how they do. I'm constantly practicing on when wars aren't going on. So, like I said, go ahead and put a comment down below the video. Please give me a like and a subscribe. I'd appreciate it. And I always try to, reply back to anything that I got. We'll talk to you later. Peace.